I was born after the Depression, shortly after. For toys, as a kid, you just didn't have any. I did have a cousin that back, I think in about 1929, his dad had bought him a cast iron thrashing machine. Along with that set came a tractor, a 1020 McCormick Deering. He played with it till it was well abused, I guess. Then it went on to another cousin of mine. He was done with it, and of course then it was given to me. I was third in line. And then I played with it. Pretty happy to have it because we didn't have toys. There was no money to buy toys. My wife and I, we are retired farmers from north of Montevideo. We have been in town for 25 years. My dad passed away when he's in 1982. Coming back from Minneapolis, St. Louis Park, where he was at, I came by a small town, and there was a guy that had a whole bunch of real tractors lined up that he had restored. And when I got about 2 miles down the road, I was thinking about these tractors. So I turned around and I went back and I looked, and I kind of thought, you know, it would be fun to get into buying old tractors and restoring them. But then I was thinking also, what would be wrong in start collecting the toys instead of the real thing? But that kind of got old, just going out and buying it. So I decided, you know, we got to have the clutch pedal, the brake pedals, the shift levers, the throttle levers. So when I'd buy a new toy, I would customize it to get all of those little final finishing touches on them to make them look more realistic. I would look around, find old toys, and I started tearing them apart, restoring them, painting them up. It was fun. I had done that for quite some time, and neighbors and friends would bring toys over. Can you do this for me? As time went on, Ertl Toy Company and other companies started building what they called a precision toy. My hobby kind of became dormant, so to say, because you could go to town and buy it off the shelf, and a precision toy were made beautifully. So then I took on another challenge, a challenge that I thought in my own mind was impossible, but it's worth a try. I started building my own toys, completely from scratch. I only build farm toys that SpecCast, Ertl, and these companies have never made. One of a kind. It's called a TLW. That tractor was never produced. The loader was too heavy and too hefty, too much power in the loader for the tractor. The tractor couldn't take it. They made 3 of them in a proto, but they were never marketed. But Denny and Patty Kirkspine, east of Montevideo, they owned one, but I built this one off of that. Just something I thought that was kind of fun. So that's why this one, and that's, you know, kind of a unique unit. I make everything out of sheet metal. I buy little bolts and nuts. They come out of Lebanon, New Jersey. When I order 1,000 at the time, because the combine is maybe got from 300 to 400 bolts in it. You don't see all those bolt heads, but I like to have them bolted. I don't want it soldered or welded or glued because the real equipment is made to take apart when you have a breakdown. So I make all of my stuff to make it look like it can be taken apart. And nobody else really sees that, but I see it. And I know it's supposed to be there. See, I can take this off. You see down there's the straw walkers and also your power steering hydraulic cylinders back there. And then in here, then you see my controls. I got all the controls and stuff are all in there. You don't want to drop them. It takes a lot of time. And when you're retired, time don't mean much. The more time you spend, the faster the day goes. I can come down here to my little toy shop and I can be working and my wife will give me a little holler and say it's time to eat. You're maybe thinking it's 10 o'clock in the morning and here all of a sudden it's noon. And this is my dad. In 1939, he was picking corn and he had what you call it's a 1P International corn picker with the homemade wagon, homemade box, and an H farmall on it. And my mother took this picture of him back a few years ago. I found that picture. So I decided that it would be fun to have a replica of my dad picking corn. I bought the H farmall, that's company made, but then I built the corn picker, built the wagon, and built the box for it. And of course, it's got little ears of corn here. They're pretty small. I've always said it's a joke thing that the reason the ears are small, they came out of South Dakota. Years ago, I was at a toy show in Alexandria, Minnesota, and they had a pedal tractor. And the guy wanted to sell it to me, which I had no interest in pedal tractors. This one here was beat. And I said, how much do you want for it? Well, it ended up, I walked out of there with it for $40, which was very reasonable. But at that time, they weren't worth anymore. And I restored that. And all of a sudden, I got interested in pedal tractors. So that's started to get carried away too. So now I got to go to what we call our storage room. And I do have some pedal tractors here. And this is, everybody's gonna have a junk room, and this is kind of our junk room. But I do have an assortment of pedal tractors in here. I look for the old ones. The old ones has history, and I have quite a few now that I have restored of the old ones. In fact, I brought down the 60 John Deere yesterday, the large model, the 38-inch, and the 400 International. One was made in 1954 and one in 1955. I've been doing this now for, I think, 38 years. Time has gone fast. It's been great. And I guess one of the big things is, when I'm gone, I've told the kids and the grandkids, the great-grandkids, you do whatever you want with the toys, but of all the handmade toys that I have built, I want them divided between the kids so everybody gets something to remember old Grandpa by. I have an aunt who, well, she passed away now at the nursing home. She was interested in what I was doing. And I would bring her a picture of something that I had just made. And she looked at me one day and she said, Wes, you have a God-given talent. I never knew that. And I guess I didn't appreciate that our good Lord had given me something that I was able to do that I can be proud of and my family can be proud of. And not that I'm that important. I'm not that. Most people, I do feel, have a God-given talent, but they don't realize it's out there till they try and take, so to speak, the bull by the horns and see what you can do with that talent. Life can be a lonely thing if you wait to go to bed or you wait to get up. I've always said you got to have a reason to get up in the morning, and I've been given a good reason.
Postcards is made possible by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota. Additional support provided by Margaret A. Cargill Philanthropies, Mark and Margaret Yakel-Julien on behalf of Shalom Hill Farms, a retreat and conference center in a prairie setting near Windham, Minnesota. On the web at shalomhillfarm.org. Alexandria, Minnesota, a year-round destination with hundreds of lakes, trails, and attractions for memorable vacations and events. More information at explorealex.com. The Lake Region Arts Council's Arts Calendar, an arts and cultural heritage funded digital calendar showcasing upcoming art events and opportunities for artists in West Central Minnesota. On the web at lrac4calendar.org. Playing today's new music plus your favorite hits, 96.7 Cram. Online at 967cram.com.